All right, so now we're going to talk about subtracting signed numbers, since we already talked about adding signed numbers. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to use that. Okay, the number line. All right, we're there, and I don't want to start over again, so we'll keep going. Okay, so let's take 8, positive 8, and what happens when we subtract positive 3? Well, we've been doing this since we were in grade school, right? 8 minus 3, of course, is 5. Okay, and then our number line, we go here to 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now when we were adding positive numbers, we were going this direction. So let's see if we got this right. When we were adding positive numbers, we went that direction. But when we are subtracting positive numbers, we go that direction. So if we're going to subtract 3, we would go 1, 2, 3, and we end up at 5. Okay. Now for the next one, we're going to start at a negative 4. We go negative 4, and then we're going to take away a positive 3. Well, same thing occurs. We start at negative 4, which is right here, and we're subtracting a positive number. So we go 1, 2, 3. So we go that direction, and what do we end up with? Negative 7. Okay. Now here's where it's a little bit different. Now earlier, when we were adding a negative number, we went that direction. Okay? But now we're going to be subtracting a negative number. So which direction do you predict we're going to go? Correct. The opposite. Okay. So here we start off at a 10, which is right there. Here's our 10. Now we're going to subtract a negative 2. Now here's the way to think about this. This is 10. I'm starting off with, say, $10 in my pocket. Now, if we remember back, that negative 2 means essentially we have a debt. So we have a debt of $2. But now the subtraction means I'm subtracting that debt. Okay, so it's no longer a debt, it becomes an asset. So it means that I'm going to, since I'm subtracting a negative, it means I'm actually going in that direction. So I start off at 10, and I'm going to add 2. So the result is a 12. Okay, and I'm going to show you sign changes here in a moment, which might help with some of this. Okay, so now the next one says I'm starting off at negative 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right there. Sorry, a little hard to see where I'm at. So we're starting off at negative 6. We're going to subtract a negative 7. We're subtracting a negative, so which way do we go? That way. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we end up at positive 1. Okay. Now let's talk about sign changes to deal with these. And I really like sign changes. And a lot of people will have you doing sign changes for a while and then have you stop doing it. I would encourage you to do it forever. Higher level physics, sign changes were an excellent way of keeping track of things, and you made a lot less mistakes. So by learning to do sign changes, you are going to be doing yourself a big favor. And if you have instructors that want you to not do the sign changes, simply don't write it down. That's the way around it. Okay. So if I have 8 and I'm taking away a positive 3, well, I don't like dealing with subtraction, okay? I like dealing with things positively. Part of the reason for this is when I'm dealing with addition, later on in a little bit of this class, but later on, especially in Math 70, you're going to learn a lot that when you're adding things, you can move things around. So it's always good to add everything together. So instead of subtracting, I want to turn that subtraction into addition. And I can do that. There's a rule that allows me to do that. I can do that if I do one thing afterwards. If I change the sign of the number just to the right of that sign. So I turn that addition or subtraction into addition, then I need to change the sign of this thing. I need to turn that positive 3 into a negative 3. Because what is 8 plus negative 3? Well, we go to 8. 8 right here. We're going to add a negative. When we add a negative, we go this way. So we go 1, 2, 3. So we're at 5. Okay. Another way of thinking of that is I have $8 in my pocket. I owe 3. I got 5 left. Okay. So now I'm going to do it to this one. Turn that into positive, or turn that into addition. Now I turn that positive into a negative. So what's a negative 4 plus negative 3? Well, I've got a debt of 4, I got a debt of 3. What's my debt? Negative 7. I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay? I'm going to turn this into addition, which means I need to change the sign of the very next item. So that's negative is going to turn into a positive. Well, what's 10 plus 2? 12. Do the same thing here. Subtraction into addition, change the sign of the very next item. What's negative 6 plus 7?